Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have a full review of the Sony LinkBuds. Let's get started. These headphones are not so modern in terms of their presentation, but I had not had the opportunity to try them, so I wanted to give them a try. Their priority is not to give you the best sound and music quality because they are headphones with a somewhat innovative format. Besides being considered open format, I would consider it to be a kind of transparent format or something like that. Since we generally refer to headphones that do not have a cushion that isolates you from outside noise as open format. However, in this case, in addition to not having a cushion, they have a hole directly in the center that will make you practically perceive the sound from the outside without any kind of obstacle or distortion. So, they are headphones whose main focus is to keep you connected with what is going on around you, but allow you to listen to music to set the mood at work perhaps, or while you are studying, or some similar situations where you do not want to disconnect completely from the outside. Its launch price has been 4,999 pesos. This is more or less $240. To tell the truth, it seems to me a considerably high price taking into account the sound aspects. But for the proposal, let's say innovative, it could be justified a little, although I suppose that over time the price has been adjusted and reduced. So in the description I leave you the link in case you want to buy them. But let me tell you point by point what they can offer us. For starters, the case is exaggeratedly compact and lightweight. In fact, it seems to me that they could have made a slightly larger case to improve the autonomy, but overall it is a case that stands out a lot for its very small size. It is available in white and also in gray. Another thing that I find very curious about this proposal is that it includes an opening button, something that is quite strange since most cases bet only by magnetic absorption. But in this case, you press the button and the case is released to have direct access to these headphones. Note that it also has a rectangular LED that gives a very special touch to the design. So these are headphones that have a very particular design, very different from what we currently see in headphones in every way, not only because of the very strange design that they may have. On the back, we see the USB-C charging port and an easy toggle button. In that sense, I like it, but what I don't like is that they don't have wireless charging. Honestly, for being so expensive, I think this will be one of their main weaknesses. Their weight is only 34 grams, so in that aspect, as I say, they stand out a lot. Of course, having a clasp that is practically a lock, it will be impossible for the headphones to fall out accidentally. If you have the case open, you have to notice that they don't stay open that easily, but if you push with a little more pressure, there comes a moment when you hear a little click, and in that sense the lid stays in that position. Notice that the headphones also have good magnetic absorption, so they don't fall out of the case easily. Next, let's take a look at the earphone specifically, whose design is very peculiar. As I tell you, it includes a hole in the area that is directly to your ear, so you can still hear all the sound outside. This part that you're looking at is the outside area, so it also has the microphone to capture your voice, also the brand logo, and on the inside is where we're going to see the speaker grill. Only obviously the driver that emits the sound is located in the top capsule, so the sound no longer travels so directly to your ears, and that's why perhaps the sound quality is not the most remarkable of this proposal. Here in the internal area we are also going to find the playback sensor, so when you remove the headphone, playback stops, and when you place it in your ear, playback resumes. Although it will be rare that you have to remove a headset of this format to hear what is happening in the environment, it also includes its indicator of whether it is the left or right earphone and its charging pins. Each earphone weighs 4.1 grams, and you should know that they include these small ears or supports, as you want to know, which are completely rubber and completely interchangeable. Note that I can remove it completely, and 4 different sizes are included in the box. This little earpiece is going to help you keep the hearing aid in your ear and not falling out. Another funny thing about these headphones is that they have a kind of clasp as well when you put the headphones in the case, so you don't just put them in, you have to exert a little bit of pressure until you hear the click. So they have a completely revolutionary design. In this case, they integrate IPX4 level of water resistance, so you could use them in the rain or exercise or something like that, but they don't include an option to try to find them on a map when they get lost or anything like that. Attaching the earbuds can also take a bit of a learning curve because you have to make sure the little earpiece sits on the inside of your ear to make sure the earbud isn't going to fall out. In fact, the manufacturer recommends applying a small twist to finish the adjustment, so it is important that you find the perfect fit. But overall, these are not hearing aids that are going to be falling out or anything like that. And as I say, they allow you to still hear outside, although it doesn't sound exactly the same as if you didn't have anything on. But compared to the vast majority of hearing aids, they definitely do let through a lot cleaner the sound that's going on around you. And the truth is that it's going to be very difficult for them to fall out once you find the perfect fit, but it may require a little learning curve on how to put them on the best way. But as I say, they don't fall out that easily. Although that will depend on each ear, but that's why it's appreciated that they have 4 different sizes so you can choose the one that fits you best. With respect to the controls, we will also find something different from what we see in a lot of headphones, as these have enough sensors to detect even the blows that you can get to give in the area of your face or near your ear. So you don't need to specifically touch the hearing aid, but simply by touching your skin you will be able to do these actions. By default, we see a different behavior of the left and right hearing aid. Obviously, through the application, you can change some of these parameters, but by default, with one touch, they're not going to do any kind of action. With 2 taps on the left earphone or on your skin on the left side, we're going to be able to control playback. Simply if you want to pause or resume the content, and with 3 taps, you can go to the next song. Obviously, in this case, there's no long tap function, so you're a little bit limited in that regard. The right, by default, is set to call up the assistant. So with 1 tap, there's no action, but with 2 taps you enable audio input, so you start talking to the voice assistant on your phone, whether you're using Android or iOS. And with 3 taps you're going to start reading notifications, although that's something you have to authorize in a special permission, and I personally have not been able to authorize that, so I think that feature is still not that well worked out. However, the idea seems positive to me. In fact, when you receive a notification, you could have the hearing aid read the contents of that notification to you, as long as you can enable the permission. In both left and right hearing aid, you can slightly change the behavior. For example, you can choose the volume control category, and in that case, you would control volume down on one side and volume up on the other. You could also prioritize the song selection control so that one side you go back and the other side you go forward, or you could even call Alexa directly from the headset or activate the quick access option that connects to other services that I'll mention later. So, it has good variety of controls in terms of things you can assign, but it doesn't have as much versatility since it only supports 2 and 3 touches. But there are other headsets that support long touch or swipes, which would give you more capabilities. However, here you are a bit more limited. By the way, it also comes with an adaptive volume control option that you can enable in the app, although it is turned off by default. This would allow you that when you enter an environment where there is more noise, also the volume of your music automatically increases, and the opposite will happen when you are in a quieter environment. So in that aspect, the experience is positive because even though you don't have so many ways to control the volume manually, at least automatically it could be adapted. Let's talk now about the sound quality of these headphones. I anticipated at the beginning that they are headphones that give much more priority to keep you in contact with the outside. So I confirmed that if you are looking for a spectacular sound or something like that, you'd better look for other proposals. It's not that they sound disastrous, but sound is definitely not going to be your priority. It's not even that crisp sounding, and they have little presence of bass frequencies. Fortunately, in the application, we found a good equalizer to adjust everything to your liking. So in that case, I was able to improve the experience a bit, and above all, you can get to enjoy that music well if you are in relatively quiet environments. If you're going to go in a very noisy place, in transportation or some other places where the noise is loud, you're definitely not going to enjoy the music well. And through the application, it also allows you to run a small test to create your own equalizer according to the taste it detects that you have. So that's another interesting proposal through the application. And in this case, the manufacturer shares some information regarding the driver, which includes neodymium magnets that are generally used in very good quality headphones. The driver is 12 millimeters, so it also offers us good characteristics in that aspect. However, I suppose that because it is not placed directly on the audio output jacks, you don't get to perceive such a high quality audio. It is a sacrifice to pay in exchange for having direct contact with the outside due to the perforation that these headphones have. This driver has support for frequencies from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, complying with the norm. And they also include the DSE technology that Sony incorporates in virtually all of their headphones to go about improving a little bit any kind of loss in resolution that has been caused by wireless audio transfer. So that technology is positive, but I insist that they are not spectacular headphones in sound. They support SBC, AAC, and LC3 codecs, but all of them are really basic compared to what high-resolution codecs offer. And this confirms that these are not headphones that place a high priority on sound quality. They also incorporate the IXS reality audio feature that Sony has been pushing for several generations. Compatible only with some platforms and do not have noise cancellation, which would sound strange, I know, but there are open format headphones that have noise cancellation, so it would have been very nice to see it in headphones that have this price. Next, let's do a test of the microphones built into these headphones.
En este momento estás escuchando el audio ambiental.
Y ahora estás escuchando el audio captado con los micrófonos integrados de estos audífonos. Estoy hablando a un nivel un poco alto porque el volumen es fuerte del ruido que estamos reproduciendo. Pero, ¿qué te parece?
I definitely think they have good noise cancellation in the microphones, even though they don't have that many microphones around. We put it through a very complicated test, and I think you can understand the words you are saying well enough when you are on a call in noisy environments. Let's talk about the battery that we will find in these headphones. For starters, you should know that through the application you can check the battery status, and in this case we offer 5.5 hours of playback individually and extends to 17.5 hours using the case. As you realize, it's not as extended as some other headphones. I mentioned it, the case is very compact, and so it doesn't cause the time to be extended as much, and obviously by having the perforation they sacrifice quite a bit of space by moving the driver to the top, so there's little room left for the battery. They are headphones that you're going to have to charge a bit recurrently, and the fact that they don't have wireless charging could make things a bit more uncomfortable. The manufacturer shares as an additional fact that they have fast charging, so with 10 minutes that you put them to charge with its cable, they can get to give you an hour and a half of playback. Let's talk about connectivity, as these headphones do have Google Fast Pair, so as soon as you open the case, they will be detected by Android phones around to initiate pairing easily. Also, the repair button can help with this, and in this case they also feature Microsoft Swift Pair, so if you place them near a Windows laptop, you can also initiate an easy pairing. They have Bluetooth 5.2, so they don't offer as high a range and stability as what we see in newer headphones, but they can be connected to up to 2 devices at the same time to intelligently manage this connection. Finally, what do you say we check out some latency tests? Compared to what we have seen in other headphones, I could consider that they do offer you low latency. Obviously not comparable to using wired headphones, but I insist that considering what we have seen with other headphones, they behave well in this aspect. Finally, these headphones have additional features not usually found in other headphones. For example, it has a feature called Talk Chat, which will detect when you start talking to a person so that it automatically lowers the volume of your music and you can hear even more clearly the person you are talking to, although this is a feature that is disabled by default. There is also another feature called Autoplay, which you can link to Spotify or some other service so that as soon as you put the headphones on, it starts playing the last thing you were playing on these platforms. They also integrate an automatic shut-off function, so if you suddenly want to listen to music only for an hour or so, you can also activate it. They have Spotify tap, so you can configure any of the headphones, and with 2 taps you can directly start playing whatever you had on Spotify. It also has access to other services such as Endel, Quick Access, and the game Ingress Prime, which are much less popular services. But it stands out that Sony has this ability to make several partnerships to give their headphones greater capabilities. And with this, we have reached the end of this video of these headphones that, I insist, for the price I think we could demand more in terms of sound quality and some other features. But the proposal of this format that so far I had not seen in other headphones is appreciated. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know you can tell me about it, and see you next time.